Okay, so how can we simplify the units of a ratio? Well, when you see that they actually have units attached to them, like see meters, 50 meters, and 30 meters, and they're the same, then we're okay to go ahead and simplify it. But let's make a little notation here. Let's color code this so that way we know when we need to simplify a ratio, we need to make sure that the units are the same. So here's an example where the units are the same. And I would like us to write it as a fraction. Go ahead and put the first number on top of your fraction right there. Put the second on the bottom and include the units so we can do this. To show that the units are the same, we're going to take our colored pencil and we're going to color in both of these m's, the meters, the same color to show they're the same. And now that we've done the check to make sure that they're the same, I'm trying to show you where your eyes should go to check before you start jumping in and solving the problems. Now we can go and solve or simplify this fraction. And it becomes 5 over 3. Remember though, we don't want a mixed number. So we probably ought to take a look at what's happening on our calculator. When you put an improper fraction into our calculator, these TI-34s, they want to go ahead and make it into a mixed number. Well, remember, when we're simplifying them, we don't want to make it a mixed number. A ratio needs to have two numbers. This isn't two numbers, right? So go ahead and simplify it down, and then we get 1 and 2/3 right there. So now if you know how to make this into an improper fraction, 3 times 1 is 3, plus the 2 is 5, then you know that this becomes 5/3. If you don't know how to do this, then take a look at your options on this calculator, and I'm going to refocus for us. If you take a look at your mixed number button, right above it on the secondary features, it's got that toggle arrow between a fraction symbol and a mixed number symbol. So if you just hit second and then tap the mixed number button, it says, will you please take this answer, and if it's a mixed number, make it into a fraction. Hit enter, there it is, it's 5/3. It's probably easier just to learn how to do this without the calculator though. But that's if we have the same units. What happens if we have different units on here? So 50 seconds and 2 minutes. Let's pull this out a little bit more to our right so that way we can have some space. Well, when you do run into this situation, and notice I color coded them differently to show that they are different units, so we can't just go and simplify. That's the rule, right? Make sure that the units are the same before we simplify these ratios. You ask yourself, can I make 50 seconds into minutes? Well, it's 60 seconds to make 1 minute, and this is less than 60, so that would be kind of difficult. We'd have to make a fraction. I don't know if I want to do that. But how many seconds are in 1 minute? I'm hoping you go 60 seconds. So there's 2 minutes, and each one has 60 seconds, so 2 times 60 would get us 120 seconds. So this 2 minutes we've turned into 120 seconds, so the units will be the same. And now all that we have to do is simplify that fraction. 50 over 120 becomes 5/12. That is our ratio, okay? That is our simplified ratio, but we had to make sure that our units are the same. So since this is our notes, let's make one other note right here. Change the units to match before you simplify. So if they're different units, change them, and then you can simplify. Let's do one last example together. So here's 80 yards over 120 feet. I already have it in a fraction format for us, so let's check our units here, yards and feet. They're different. So we've got options here. We can make the yards into feet, or we can make the feet into yards. How many feet are in 1 yard? Probably need to make a note of this if you don't know. 3 feet equals 1 yard, and feet, the number 3 is bigger than the 1 yard, so these are smaller units. So basically, if I took these feet down right here, I should get a smaller number for the yards, right? See how 3 feet, 1 yard? So if this is 120 feet, I need a number that's less than 120. Let's just go ahead and divide it by 3. And so now we have the same units, and now we can go simplify. 80 over 40 becomes 2. And how do we make any whole number into a fraction? Put a 1 under it. Technically, we could let it sit as a whole number, but I'm trying to drive home the point that basically ratios are a comparison of two numbers there, and if you write it as a 2, everybody understands that there'd be an invisible 1 underneath it, so I say just go ahead and write that underneath there. Okay.